What up,
Eh,
everybody, to the weekly buyer's guide show where we're supposed to have Jake, Jordan, and Chris, but it's never the three of us. It's always unique guests because we don't have consistency. With us is the adorable, incorrigible Omnidog.
What up, bitches?
Yeah,
hey,
demonetized off the
hey.
bat. I'm just kidding.
Wait a minute.
Shouts out to
When you talk
everyone.
about this consistency stuff, I think I've been the most consistent person on this one. You and Jordan have been always bailing on. I even did it from an airport.
That is true. That is true.
I
Cinnabon
think
and
I was
everything.
on that one.
You
I
think
think
I,
were.
so.
you were like in the passenger lounge area, like by your gate. I think.
Yeah, yeah. I was in
Yeah.
the food court of the
It was
Charlotte
Yeah.
airport.
flying the
Yeah,
plane.
yeah. Flying the plane. That would be
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
No, welcome everyone. This is the last buyer's guide will all be in this house. So that's fun.
You have to
Last
qualify
week,
that each time. People think you're leaving.
yeah, I'll be back. Better than ever. It's just wow. Having I did not have this many books when I moved in. I had one 4x4 Calyx. Maybe yeah, it was one 4x4 Calyx, and now
Mhm.
I have like five Calyxes, and I hate everything, man. But I'm also like, I'm not as stickler as some people where everything's meticulously bubble wrapped. I'm just putting them in like, I'm just doing small boxes of like three books each because I can't have them be too heavy. You know what I mean? Because I'm going downstairs here and upstairs there. So it's just, yeah, it makes you really rethink your collection, right?
Yeah, that is the young man's job. I had to have I had to have the movers get packers and pack everything up to be moved, and I was
Yeah.
still exhausted because I moved all my statues over here myself, and that
Mm.
was like 45 trips over here. So moving is no fun.
Each
Was
statue
one
gets its
trip
own
just the
ride
giant
over.
Galactus?
I
Like Galactus little
Galactus.
shotgun so you could get the carpool.
I did actually. I think I put a seatbelt around him. I sent that picture to somebody. I can't remember, but there were a couple that were so delicate that they got a special place in the car so that nothing could bump into them for the 5 minute car ride.
I still remember when we moved to this house, and I have way more books and movies and other things since then. But our entire dining room was, I already had boxes in there, and the movers were like, "So what's in here?" I says, "That's my hubs and books." All of them? Yes. The entire dining room was filled with boxes of books that I had packed, and they were, at the time, my collection. I don't even want to know what it would be like now. I don't even want to think like that. I'm not moving.
I
Heck
want to
No.
no.
give I want to give a shout out to my LCS comic book hideout. They were nice enough to respond to my post on Instagram, and they were just like, "Hey, every week when we get our shipment, come and take as many boxes as you want for free.
Heck
Load up your
yeah.
car." And
Cool.
that was super cool. Not like I know a lot of people say go to like a liquor store, but also like I feel it feels better going to a comic book shop, to get boxes
Yeah.
that are literally perfectly sized for comics.
True.
So, shout out to my boy Alex.
What up,
Hey.
Alex?
I bet you're going to be playing a lot of Marvel Rivals now that they're bringing in what's Emma Frost? Who's the one that you like, Jess? They gave her
Emma.
the most. They gave her the most revealing outfit I have ever seen.
You
Ooh.
sure? I've
Let me
seen
see.
more from her.
Yeah, let's see. You
I feel
have
like
it?
everyone. Let me see. Let me see. Marvel Rivals.
Is that
Emma.
a
I'm only working with
fight?
one. Here we go. Yeah, it's like a shooting game. Um, well, I guess not shooting because you don't really use guns. Okay. Open image in new tab. Wow, it's way easier when you have six monitors everywhere, right?
Welcome to us
Present,
normies.
share screen. Uh, is this it? Wow, I'm so slow at this.
Wow, are you
Uh,
a professional or not? Come
No, it's
Here
not
we
on.
the
go.
stage. There we go.
Oh,
Nope, wrong one.
Huh.
oh my God. Let me click it.
Wait a minute, that's not
Uh,
the one I saw. That's a different outfit.
that's
Yeah,
pretty
that's the skin
sweet for her.
you have to pay for.
Oh, that's you have to pay for. Oh, okay. Good thing I don't pay
Yeah,
for playing that game.
So
yeah.
what do you do? Like if I was Emma, what would I what do I have her powers, or am I shooting something, or what's the
Yeah,
problem?
yeah, yeah. You would like shoot ice out. Maybe you can make like I don't know what she actually does. Maybe you make like an ice shield to like
Ice.
block the other teamers. Isn't she ice? What she's not ice?
She gives her
She turns her body into
body
a diamond
time,
crystallized form.
but she's
Alex, tell us what does she do in that game because you just paid for that skin.
I might
I
have
did,
paid for that skin.
I did not pay for anything in that. I don't even play that game.
Yeah,
Um,
I bought the game I can't even remember the name of now that I can play as magic in. What was that
mm,
game? Uh, it's like a card based game.
Oh,
oh,
Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns. Yeah, I got that for like $14. So I actually do want to play that. That's on my delusional stack of video games.
can
Very
we talk about how little I know about X-Men that I assumed she had ice powers because her name was Emma Frost?
Nope.
So if I'm Emma and I'm okay, let's pick somebody else. Cyclops with laser beams out of his eyes. Does he fight people, or is it a team thing?
So all the characters here, here's the characters I know. The character I played the most was Squirrel Girl. Um,
Okay.
she has a little
And his
like
teammate Gutter Mutant. Just Gutter.
she would have like a little slingshot, like David and Goliath style, and she'd shoot acorns out. And she could jump really high, like she could like if enemies get near you, you could jump really high to like go away. I played what was cool is like one of my friends would be Rocket Raccoon, and he powered up Winter Soldier, and he powered up Punisher, where we would get like infinite ammo in our guns. So like certain characters on your team, if they're paired up together, you get like special abilities and stuff.
So it's a
Um,
it's a team thing. You're part of a team.
yeah, yeah. There's like five of us on one team, five of us on the other team, and everyone can only be one hero like at a time. So you can't have like three Emma Frosts on one team. So she uses her telepathy and her diamond form to attack. Her ultimate attack stuns the enemy and forces them to walk towards her.
Oh, so she's
You
kind
know,
of like a poison ivy kind of thing going on.
Oh, um,
nice.
William Lee. That's funny. It's basically my entire collection. my
Yeah. My latest illusion was after getting really into Marvel Rivals and my main character being Squirrel Girl, is I bought the Squirrel Girl omnibus. And then I took one
Oh,
look at it and goes, I'm never reading this. I don't play Rivals anymore. I deleted it off my PlayStation and I just sold it. So,
oh
you know,
gee.
that was
I
quick.
was, yeah, that was the biggest turnaround I've ever had. That book is so huge, and I realized I don't care about Squirrel Girl, you know?
Um, I didn't either. I always have called her the unreadable Squirrel Girl, but
I thought that
after
was your omnibus you wanted. I thought that was the one you wanted.
what's that?
I thought you wanted the
I
Squirrel
saw
Girl
your stream
omnibus.
where you bought it.
I did. Yeah, I bought it with the Kristen a couple years ago when I had the Omnicat with me. But I'm willing to give that a chance because Ryan North's Fantastic Four is so great. And so many people have said so many good things about Squirrel Girl that I'm going to give it another chance. Well, I mean, I have the
You're
entire.
right. I'm going to buy it right now. I think
We
it just when you have to move it, yeah,
buying
that
and
book looked too heavy
buying.
to move.
Well, apparently, I just saw this on Twitter that Ultron is joining Marvel Rivals on May 30th, and the new map Araco will release then as well.
Oh, so are you fighting random people on the internet or other of your friends, or are you
It
playing?
would be your team would be the people that you know, and maybe some randoms if you don't have a full team, and you're fighting against other randoms. And I'm gonna explain this really badly. Basically, you have your respawn area where you come into the game, and then you have like the other team has theirs, and in the middle is like a circle. And basically, you want to kill the other enemy team and have your team stand in that circle. And if you stand in there long enough, you get like a win. And you do that three times, so like the circle moves closer and closer to the enemy's base, and it's basically like capture the flag type thing. Like you capture the yeah. So it was fun, but then I realized that like every game was exactly the same. I
You know,
played it for like 2 weeks straight, and it just like it never felt different.
when it was fun, what was fun about it? Because it doesn't
I
sound.
think it was the first game I've ever played online with other friends and people. So I realized that online gaming isn't so much that you're supposed to have fun with the game while you're playing. It's something mindless to do while you're chatting with friends, like on the
Okay.
phone. So it's like imagine talking with your friends on the phone while also playing a game at the same time. Makes it like I would never play Rivals by myself. That would be so lonely and weird to me, you know. But
Okay.
I
Oh, great!
switched.
You just ostracized some people in our audience. Thanks, Jake.
No offense if you like it, like, but to me it was a social thing, you know. It was like getting to
I,
talk with my Discord more and stuff, you know.
okay. Um, I have Mario Party 2 that I've been waiting forever to play with Geo, but we can't seem
I'm
to set
sorry, Captain Underpants.
it up. Captain Underpants.
Exactly. See, I'm trying to look after you, Captain.
I told you we'll get up that Mario Party stream when you want to. I have all the stuff. Mike, even bless his heart, he bought a Switch and then bought me a year. It came with a year of that Nintendo service where you can play online with people, and he
Mm-hmm.
gifted it to me.
Aw.
And
Oh, I need a service before I can do it.
I think so, but it's like 11 a year or something like that.
$11.
Yeah, I think I don't know what's the
Well,
price for the year.
you only need it if you want to access all the old games, like
I
all
thought
the
you
old
needed it to play
games.
online together.
No, I don't play online together. I don't do that. I don't like other people. I like you all. I like you all.
That's why we're friends.
Okay,
Yes.
so who
I
are the
hate people,
boys and
but I
who is
love
the good
gatherings.
sir?
Right.
Um,
So Fat Kato saying it's $20 a year, so I'd need that to play Mario Party with you
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
And you have it fixed up so that you have it so that we can.
Yeah, I have the adapter that would like show what's on the Switch on StreamYard, so
And we can
people
hear
could
each
see us
other
play.
talk.
We would probably talk through a Discord phone call.
Oh, okay.
So this is going to be
Yeah.
entertaining when we're all in Heroes Con together, and you're still trying to get Jess to understand how to work this, and you're right next to each other.
As
Hey,
long as
I
some,
got say what you will. I got Jess to do an online video game stream one time. We just played Stardew Valley, and he absolutely hated it.
I did hate it. Next Imaginauts, right? That is a direct quote from me.
It's
Next
two
Imaginaut
people.
knows. It's way
Exactly.
too big.
I tell this to people all the time. I hate people, but I love gatherings. Isn't that strange? And then COVID happened and ruined everything for me.
And speaking of things that aren't peoply, my first book to show off on this haul is Animal Pound
A book that Jess won't
by
read.
Yeah.
Tom King.
Have you read it?
I have read it. I read it I read the first three in single issues because I try to. Tom King's the writer I break my single issue rule for, you know, just to vote with my dollar, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I read the rest in this when this came out. Wow, it is sad. It is dark. He essentially wrote this for his kids. He explained it to me as a ringing the bell story where like it's supposed to signal a change, but it's a modern day interpretation of Animal Farm,
Mm-hmm.
but with rabbits, cats, and dogs in an animal pound. And it starts out with like through the rise of American democracy and like everything's idealized and everyone's free and they're living in this paradise. And then through people misusing democracy and and not being like true and honest, like it's about the rise of
Wait,
fascism.
wait
Yeah,
a minute. Wait a minute. Are we sure you're not watching the news? Just saying. Just saying. Anyways.
What's this have to do with the animals?
I know, yeah. It sounds like you're just reading the newspaper every day.
seriously, yeah. Um, yeah, it's crazy. But literally, like one of the guys, like the metaphors are not subtle. The characters that are representative of other people in our society are like so on the nose it's infuriating. So you shouldn't read it, one, because there's animal harm, and two, because
Okay.
it's political. So I can't think of a book you would hate more.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because I know that
But
was
the
one
art
of
is
Jess's.
good,
I knew that was one of Jess's big things. No animal harm.
Yeah.
and
And
no politics.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
literally,
Oh.
like this book should be called "Triggering Jess," like by Tom King.
How do you get through a Captain America book, Jess, if there's no politics?
Well,
Well,
it doesn't. I mean, I read all of Brubaker's Captain America. I read all 5 Omnis in a weekend. I loved it so much.
I'm just busting you. you
You know
know.
what? You know what Captain America says in Daredevil Born Again? When he gets stonewalled by the generals and they go, "Well, we love how loyal you've been to us, Captain America." He holds the American flag and he goes, "I'm only loyal to the dream." So, it doesn't have to be political.
Fake, fake, fake Cap. Give me my real Captain America.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I am excited to, I mean, I'm happy to get this book because I like supporting Tom King and this was a story he was very passionate about. So
Hmm.
I think it needs
Here's
some love.
here's a good question from Richard.
BJ
What are
wrote a scathing review of it on his recent recent newsletter.
I saw that.
You did BJ?
Yeah, BJ wrote a scathing review. BJ hated it.
Animal Pound?
Yeah, but it's because it was too real. Like
Yeah,
it's too tied to real world events to the point where it was like infuriating for him to read.
Hmm.
I get it. Yeah, that's what I would really um, hate the most. But yeah, I can read. That's a fair question, though, Chris. I know you were kidding, but I mean, I read all of Brubaker's Captain America, and uh, there's always books that I just read a book. I'm trying to think where.
Well, maybe it's more of the sense of you don't want to be beaten over the head with the politics. It's there because you can't escape a comic with politics necessarily, but it's a question of does it beat it? Is it becoming proselytizing and
Yeah,
in your
like this
face?
one is so on the nose. There's a bulldog who wears a red hat who gets famous for licking his own ass. Like,
Okay.
Well, the animals do that.
um,
I'll be right back. Hold
yeah.
on.
So I generally know what books to stay away from. It's the animals that harm the animal harm that also I try and stay away from. So that's
is
good.
it different that it's animals harming other animals, or is it when humans harm animals or anything
It
harming animals?
it's both, and I know it can be sort of a fine line because this book Scurry that I have
Mm.
Hmm.
does have some in it, but it didn't really bother me. But then there's another book that I couldn't take it, and I had to send it to my friend Tony in Sweden. I'm trying to think. It was. I'm trying to think. It was what it was called. It was. It was a. I can't think of what it was called, but it was. It was too. It was somehow it crossed the line for me. Like Black Sad doesn't bother me,
Oh, I
and
Is
love
it
Black
because in
Sad.
those ones
Love it.
they're basically human characters that just look like humanoid animals, but if they're
yeah,
like actual like animals, then it's not okay? Because like I haven't read Black Sad, but from that cover, doesn't he wear like a trench coat and like smoke a cigar? Like it feel like they look kind of humanoid, you
It's
know?
well, the thing that people and I love it. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jess. They bring it up in the first volume that even I'm just going to use Zootopia as an example. It's not like a Zootopia kind of thing. These are actual humans, just in the portrayal of like this is the animal they would be. Is that do I got that right,
that
Jess?
that sounds right. Yeah,
Okay.
and how they're portrayed.
Yes.
And then there's not Black Sad. What's the other one that I like? Uh, um, uh, Granville.
Come
The
on,
Grand
chat, help them out.
the Granville series. Everything. I don't know why I don't have my broadcast in the other room because everything interesting is just.
Is it beneath the trees where nobody sees?
No, I did like that, and
That
that
was fun. That I
Animals
mean
are
weird
harmed in
fun.
that book, though. A lot of people are harmed.
Well, not people,
But
but
yeah,
they're like
that
animals.
they're like humanoid though, right? Like
I feel like
that's the difference.
I feel like that one was kind of on the line. What am I thinking of here?
I guess maybe what it is like if they're humanoid enough to be able to defend themselves, then maybe
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. But if it's like
Mhm.
John Wick where something sad happens to a defenseless animal, I'm not okay with that. Animal Pound was easier for me because it was animals harming other animals, so it at least felt equal in some way. if that
Okay.
makes
Yeah.
any sense, you know?
This is the Granville series by Brian Talbot, and it's like a steampunk neo anthropomorphic
Oh no,
book.
we're gonna summon Mitch. Don't say that word three times. If you say anthropomorphic 3 times, Mitch shows up.
Yeah, there's animals, but I feel like there might be.
They got hats and guns. I feel like I'd be okay with violence in that book.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Like if they have a okay, my rule is if the animals are human enough to have a 401k and a social security card, I'm okay if there's violence.
I just
This
like
is
where this
really
conversation has gone. It's just like, you know what? Jake's line is this. You come to this line, we're okay. If they have guns and a 401k, I'm okay with this. I'd like to read that comic at this
yeah,
point.
but
Guns and
specifically,
we're gonna call it Guns and 401k and animals.
yeah.
Oh my.
There's a investing strategy in one of these books about what you should do with your 401k. There's
Oh my
5
God.
books
Don't put it in
from
the stock
Dark
market
Horse.
these days.
Yeah,
Oh no.
there's 5 of them, and I think that that is a good under the radar book for one of my next videos, because I don't think people know more about Black Sad, and they're anthropomorphic. One's like a Sherlock Holmes type detective, and the other in Black Sad, he's more of a private investigator. But Black Sad, does that have? Now, where's my Black Sad? Does that have people in it too?
No, it's the animals, but I love, like I
Okay,
said, I love how the intro goes. It's not a animals acting like people. These are people that happen to be in the guise of the animal they personality wise.
Right.
Okay, so
The
now
art is
next question.
amazing.
If we were in the Black Sad world, what animals would we be based off our personality?
You'd be a skunk.
Oh my God, what?
I mean,
Why?
my spirit animal is a Komodo
Okay,
dragon.
can I be like a Pepe Le Pew skunk that's like always like trying to find love?
He's been canceled, right?
Pepe Le Pew got canceled?
Yes.
Pepe Le Pew, yeah, because
Hashtag Pepe did nothing wrong.
Okay. And there goes Jake. Sorry, Jake. Bye.
yeah.
I want to shout out this super chat really fast to our friend Safar. Happy and blessed to be here with the best possible Saturday team. Let me just screenshot that to Jordan, Chris, and Jake, and wonderful comic lovers in the room.
Don't worry, Richard. I've got your question starred to bring up later.
And then we have James saying, Jess grew up watching MASH season 11. That was enough political talk for years for me.
I love MASH. Do you remember After MASH with Jamie Faw?
Yeah, it didn't even last a full season, did it?
No, I don't think it did.
It had big ratings for like the first episode, and then it suffered. It wasn't funny, and people were like,
I know this is Klinger. What are we talking about here? It's supposed to be funny.
yeah, and everything was a lecture, like it was in the last few years in MASH. I remember that first episode so well because Father Mulcahy made the brilliant discovery that the black soldier was not digging his prosthetic leg because it was white colored, and so he found him like a black colored prosthetic leg, and then all of a sudden he was happy with his prosthetic leg. I'm like, this is like this is so hitting me over the head. Why can't, isn't there any kind of subtle humor or any, does everything have to be a lesson here?
That was
So
my
can we
actual
just get one
thoughts
of them in
about
a
reading
dress
Animal
again?
Pound.
What's
I was
that,
hit
Chris?
over the head.
I say, can you just get into a dress again and try to get out of something like usual?
Yeah.
Come on, that was funny.
I do have a MASH question.
Yeah.
A lot of my coworkers compared me to a character in MASH, but I've never seen MASH.
Okay.
They would call me Radar O'Reilly.
Yes.
Do I fit that
Yes.
description?
Yeah, kind of.
Do you think so?
Well, his voice is a little bit lower, so he does have the since he's your ward, the always trying to make sure he's with the commander. So
Well, that's
Like-
true. But he was helpful. The reason he was named Radar was because he knew stuff was going to happen like right before it happened. He anticipated everything. Like he could always hear the helicopters before anybody else, and already have, especially with Colonel Blake, he would already have the papers out that Colonel Blake was going to ask for.
Let's just say Jake's hot lips at that point. Hot lips Houlihan, right?
I always thought I was a clinger because I wear women's dresses, but I guess I'm radar. Let's go to that question that you starred.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. Let me go to
Mine would be this year I committed to not using Goodread because it started to making reading feel like a chore. Feeling like the second I finish my book, I have to write this like grand essay about what I liked about it in the description. And then I got yeah, so but looking back, the most memorable thing I read was probably the Frank Miller Daredevil Companion. I loved the Frank Miller Daredevil and the Companion Daredevil Omnibus.
Why do you write stuff? I never write stuff. I just star it. It's just a way for me to keep track of my reads. I can see why you stopped doing it.
I don't know because I had people were like following me on Goodreads. I felt like they needed something from me. I almost want to make like a private Goodreads that nobody knows about.
Yeah. I thought about doing Goodreads, and then it became a chore, like you said. So
that's the only way I can keep track of my books.
My theory was if something was worth remembering, I don't need Goodreads to remember it. You know what I mean? Like if I forgot that I read something, then
you'd be Omnidog.
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I can't remember anything, so I have to write it down. I think Hard Bargain and Hellblazer Dead in America are the top two. Hard Bargain was great. That was like an undiscovered, I made a video on it because I enjoyed it so much. It's a 1940 Los Angeles supernatural private investigator, and it's so good.
Yeah, this is mine right now. I haven't finished. I'm just starting the second book now. It's been tough getting outside of reading weeklies. It's been tough trying to sit down, but that's what summer's for. So, book one's great. I'm looking forward to book two.
It's been so long since I've read that. You're welcome for that deluxe because I have all the trades. I'm going to have to start over again.
Yeah, I'm a huge, being a former history teacher, love some good counter history, and Manifest Destiny. That's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Not for the faint of heart. I will say that.
No, there's a lot of cool stuff in that book.
The art is so cool with the horror aspects of it. My goodness.
Yeah.
It is a modern interpretation of the Orwellian novel. Instead of being about like communism and that stuff, it's about modern America democracy. Through an animal pound instead of an animal farm. And Batman Off-World and Far Sector. Far Sector was great.
Far Sector
I wanted to reread it when the deluxe came out, but I never got around to it.
You still can.
You're right, but most of my stuff's packaged up now, so I'm not really reading right now until the move is done.
Play a little game, saying, can you find it? Just play a little game. Take all the books out till you find it.
Unpack everything.
We actually maybe me and my wife got into a little disagreement the other day. I ran out of boxes to sell books with because I had packaged a lot of boxes, and she wanted me to wait until I got new boxes to ship books I had sold out. But I wanted to ship the books out right away, and so she didn't like that I opened boxes that were packed, took the books out, packaged the for sale books in it, and sold the books until I got more boxes. She wanted me to get more boxes because she felt like we were going backwards in packing. But packing's stressful. It's been an interesting test for us as a young married couple working through packing. Because it's making you see everything differently.
It is stressful.
Speaking of things being differently, like a brand new day, my next book that I hold was Spider-Man Brand New Day. This I actually bought a damaged copy from OPB because it was in stock versus the other ones were back ordered. And this is all the damage was that the shrink wrap was open. Book is in perfect condition. The shrink wrap is open, and
can you imagine returning a book for that reason.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Crazy to me. I'm starting to get to the point though where I'm not even opening my packages anymore. Like I impulse bought all of Frank Miller's Sin City, and I open up the boxes and I go, this is packaged
He saw
perfectly.
my collection and he got jealous, so I
Well,
baited him.
no, it was because Jordan would always lord over Big Damn Sin City over me because I could. It was never reprinted, and and then I was like, you know what? I got to one up you, Jordan. Shouts out to
Oops,
another
sorry.
super chat.
Sorry.
I'm happy and blessed to be here with one of the best possibles. I was just giving
Oh.
you a hard time, man. Chris, Jess, Chris, and Jake, and wonderful comic lovers. Hashtag missing Jordan.
Thank you, CFAR.
We were just teasing you, and
That
I
is out
think
of
it's out
print.
of print. What
It is.
I'll say is that like a lot of Invincible stuff went out of print for a bit, but you know they're restocking in May and June. Whenever there's a show or a movie that's like tied to a comic series, that stuff usually gets kind of hard to find because everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, I want to read this," you know. And with that, including Born Again and the new Daredevil show being called Born Again, I feel like you know. What I will say though is you can buy a lot of those stories or the best part of it in different formats. So there's a gallery edition of Born Again, there's that amazing artist edition that me and Chris just got. So if you want to read Born Again, there's a Marvel Premiere Edition for $12. You can buy a lot of formats of Born Again.
And I'm
But the
sure
omnibus, yeah.
that companion's probably getting teed up right away to be reprinted.
Yeah.
And then oh my gosh, Radiant Black was amazing.
There we go.
I was like,
Love it.
Jordan took an L because he didn't know Kyle Higgins was at WonderCon and he didn't bring his deluxe edition of Radiant Black. So that was an L on his part.
Radiant Black has a deluxe now?
Yes.
Yeah, it has a deluxe.
First year.
It's good?
It's amazing. It was like the best parts of Invincible, the best parts of like Superboy, Spider-Man. Like it's just an amazing story of like a hero origin, and then it flips it on its head. Chris knows all about that universe though, so he could probably sell it better.
No, you did a pretty good job. The deluxe edition, Jess, has a lot of behind the scenes material of how they came up with the whole concept of it with Kyle Higgins and Michael Busuttil, their editor. It's the only one, like they were resistance for years to do any kind of hardcover format because it's Image, so they've got to get a lot of overhead first in order to do it. So when they finally did it, this is proof of concept. Do people like it? And I think it's one of the best collected editions out there for when they released it this year, just because of not just the presentation of the art and the story, but also it's not just a cover collection in the back. You can delve into exactly the whole process of how they got into it and where they were thinking of they were going to take it in a different direction. So, and it's in the first arc, there is a big thing that happens that you're just like, oh, they're going there. I can't believe they're changing this. So
they totally tease like one path of the story, and then out of nowhere they twist it with a completely different direction, and you're like, it's awesome because they play with your preconceived notions of what path the story is going down in, which I thought was a really unique way to do that. You know.
And do I need to? Is it part of a whole universe that I need to read everything else?
No, there is a universe. It's called the Massive Verse, but Kyle's big thing is you don't have to read anything you don't want to. Like Radiant's kind of the flagship. You're going to see other characters that get spin-off titles from it or make reference to, but if you just want to read Radiant, you're fine. If you want to read, there was a couple miniseries. You had Radiant Pink. The current ongoing is called Rogue Sun. There was Radiant Red. They had a Dead Lucky. There were a few spin-offs, but you don't have to read any of them. If you just want to read Radiant Black, you're good. You just have to read Radiant Black. That's kind of his big thing, just from working in the big two, and he's coming back. So
I went to his booth and I met him. I was like, I don't have anything for you to sign. If you're selling the deluxe edition, I'll pay cover for it. But he didn't have the deluxe edition for sale. It was just a trade paperback, and I didn't feel like paying. I just didn't buy it.
You're not a
And then,
peasant. You want?
oh my gosh, that's not what I said. Speaking of peasant formats, the next thing that I hauled is a
Wait.
brand new Absolute Edition.
Let's
Okay,
go back to Pity Mob shouting
Yeah.
me out.
Hi, Jess. Hope to catch Batter Days tonight. Hashtag Pepe Le Pew did no wrong. He just wants love. Yes, I'm behind in the stream.
Good to see you, Pity Ma.
And then they have such good customer service. That's crazy. They would set the return. It could have been returned, or it could have been they looked at that and said that's not the quality that we would ship a book out in. So we
Yeah.
never even shipped it out. But it could be either one. And thank you for saying that we do a good job. Happy Saturday, Batter Day.
Jaggernaut.
Excited for brand new day. I made a video and a podcast on it.
Is this the movie or the Omnis?
Maybe because I showed the Omni, but he might mean the movie. Brave and the Boys. It's a real tightrope act to walk, and most fail even by cinematic standards. I think there are very few genuinely great films that are also nakedly. Oh my gosh, man, he stresses me out with his word choices.
Polemical.
Big words.
Didactic at times, without sacrificing to their greater integrity or making the viewer feel like they're being scolded, preached to, or proselytized.
Do the right thing.
And with Val Kilmer passing recently, do you have a favorite Val Kilmer fan? Maybe Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yes, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Love it. Besides Top Gun, Real
I haven't
Genius.
watched a lot of his movies, if I'm being honest.
Tombstone's so great.
I haven't seen that. That's Western, right?
I like The Saint. I like The Saint's good.
The what?
The Saint. He did
Saint.
Based off the TV show.
I remember the TV show.
I think that there's no way you could make a story that is this have a happy ending, because we don't know because it's so current and so tied to real political events. We don't really know what a happy ending would be. I also think that he ended it in a heartbreaking way, but also the only logical way for that story to end, if that makes any sense at all.
Definitely not getting that.
Yeah. My favorite read this year has been Superman for All Seasons. Amazing. Spider-Man Married with Children, Hickman.
Spider-Man Married with Children.
I did like that. I'm reading a Hickman book right now. I'm about halfway through the first Fantastic Four omnibus, and I'm really liking it. I love it. I've never read a Fantastic Four comic since like the first few issues of that giant Taschen that I have. But it's fun, and it's making me pumped for an upcoming movie. You know, like if they do some of that like Council of Reed stuff. Like there's this one great page I love where he goes, I'm not really into killing, but I killed the Galactus before breakfast, or something like that. Like,
I love how they hollowed out his body, and they use it in the basement as a ship.
I just love I love the whole concept that he feels this pressure. He's felt this pressure his whole life that he needs to solve every problem, fix every issue, because only he's smart enough to do it. And then he's presented with, you don't have to be alone. You can be with this community of others and actually solve everything, which is what he always felt called to do. But it would require him to lose his family and lose his humanity and lose his, you know what I mean? And I don't know what he's going to choose, but I love that, like, here's the chance to get everything you've always felt like you needed to do, but it requires you to give up what you actually love. I think that's a really unique concept for a story, you know?
Have you read Hick Ventures yet?
No, I'm trying to go. I watched an OG Omnidog video on how to read all the Hickman stuff.
Right on. I'm
gonna be honest, I didn't like Secret Warriors that much. I got through it. I almost wish I had just started with Fantastic Four.
Well, that's Bendis, so.
No, Secret Wars.
Warriors. Yeah, Warriors. Yeah.
Secret Wars is right here. Great segue, Christopher.
I know.
Wow. Can we talk about hashtag really just an OHC? Can we get that?
I want to see when I get mine in. I want to see, because I still have the OHC. I want to see because I know it has more material.
Chris, we need side-by-side measurements.
Okay, well, it hasn't come in yet. That's Tuesday, according to the tracking.
Yeah, everyone hit that like button for this awesome stream and these awesome. You guys talked me into buying it. Which book?
I think
Probably
that
Radiant.
was Radiant Black.
Yeah.
Jake is an elitist. Hardcovers or go home. Thanks to OP finally getting me Fantastic Four by Miller and Hitch. Got here really quick. Big thanks to OPB. I feel like I'm an Omnidog stream. We're usually caught up to the chat. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is so good. Just got my Flash Volume 3 Omni from OPB. Arrived quickly and perfectly. A perfect example to rule this even contra most of the rest of Lee's filmography, but still one worth pursuing where mere essay won't suffice. Top Secret was a fun Kilmer film too. I tried showing my wife. I tried showing my wife Batman Forever, and she was not into it. She was like, "Why is Jim Carrey trying so hard to be the Joker?" And I was like, "He's the Riddler." And she goes, "Okay,
Yeah,
he's just the Joker, but not funny."
At one point, it was supposed to be Robin Williams
As the Riddler?
Yeah, at one point.
Huh? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't they offer it to him and then they pulled it away and he was like, "I'll never forgive you guys." I think I read that. Like he was really into being in it.
Yeah, he definitely was open to the idea. I can't remember what the fallout was.
So, Mike, what I want to say about this is Mike is a newer comic book fan. He found his love of DC through the CW Arrowverse shows and through the Teen Titans Go animated show. And now he's finally at the point where he gets to read stuff from the movies and TV shows that he's watched. But how cool is it going to be that when Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comes out, you'll get to watch a movie adaptation of something you read first? I feel like that'll be a fun switch for him. So like he's reading Crisis right now, and he had watched the Crisis live action like TV show that they did where they crossed all the shows. So that's
crossover.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
My favorite reads are Bendis Daredevil, Superman for All Seasons, and Uncanny X-Men, thanks to Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Uncanny X-Men. Have you even read any Uncanny X-Men, Jake?
No, but he traded me his Daredevil Volume 1 for Uncanny X-Men Volume 3.
That's a good place to start reading.
I actually do have my first X-Men book, and I'm going to start. It's my next book I'm going to read. I finally picked my first X-Men book.
See, I don't think that's necessarily as hot take as you think, but I think Kilmer was the better Bruce Wayne out of everyone, out of the original, Tim Burton Schumacher. I thought he was a way better Bruce Wayne.
Speaking of a way better Bruce Wayne, the last book that I hauled is Batman Zero Year, a brand new Absolute Edition. Again, they went with the acetate cover. I don't like that so much.
So he's gonna give it away on this stream because he hates it so much.
I don't think anyone's gonna want this. I started getting a lot of people, not a lot. I had 2 or 3 people reach out that their quality of their book wasn't great. And we did exchanges for them. I saw one person on Facebook say they were having binding issues, and I feel like I'm having binding issues with the book. So,
really?
Not super. Let me see if I can show you guys. Like, do you guys see that binding right there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's. I remember there was a while. That's why I held off on ever getting the Planetary Absolute Edition because of the supposed binding issues, and finally ordered it about a year ago. So
there were binding issues with Planetary? I didn't know that.
Not necessarily.
Was that the old 2-volume set or the first printing of the big one?
The first printing of the big one. Not like it was falling apart like Swamp Thing, but more of the sense of like they glued it to, like there was no way to stretch it. It was just glued on.
Oh. So. Huh. I don't remember having that problem.
Mine's fine on the Planetary. I was telling my wife, my frustration is I feel like with my haul, you can see how they're dealing, like 2 different ways the companies are dealing with things. Like this to me feels like blatant shrinkflation. You know what I mean? Where they make an OHC, they call it an omnibus, they charge Omnibus money for it, and that's how they're, it seems. And then with this 0 year, this is like bad quality for what should be the most premier edition of a book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to me, both of them were pretty upsetting. I mean, obviously, people knew how small this was going to be. It is what it is, but it just seems to me kind of cheap that they would get rid of OHCs and then just repackage OHCs as Omnis and charge Omni prices for them.
It's the American way.
Right?
I just got done reading Secret War, and the extra stuff they put in there is actually valuable stuff. It's reasonably it helps add to the story.
Yeah, it kind of brings it to a close.
Yeah.
So you have some resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was a little bummed, and it's like one of those things where it's like I could go through the process of exchanging my 0 year, but there's no way to know if it really is a wider issue. There's no way to know if my next copy would be the same way or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, roll the dice, take a chance. Maybe you get a worse edition. Then you're really screwed.
One person we sent an extra copy to them and said send back whatever's the worst. So
were they really picky?
Like their binding had come off, like completely cut off, and I was like, look, we can go through the exchange, but I don't know if this is a wider issue. If we do the exchange and your next copy sucks, so how about we send you the book early? Like we'll do instead of exchanging it, we'll just send out the new book now, and you return whichever is worse. So we're doing everything we can to take care of people with our customer support.
Okay.
But I'm sorry you're having issues with your Mr. Miracle. Did you get it from OPB? Because we can do an exchange. If you got it from the other guys, I don't know. Reach out to them. But you guys got some books to haul, right?
I got one book.
Yep, I got one book. I got my Scott Snyder Volume 1 in. I really do like the under the dust jacket, the juxtaposition. You've got the Justice League from issue 1, and then on the back, Legion of Doom.
That's rad.
I did like that. That was a nice touch.
I love that run. I have every single issue of that run.
Yep.
I'm so pumped for that.
I'll be happy to replace my deluxe editions. So I can only replace technically one of them, but that's okay. That's how that works.
I just sold my deluxe edition a few days ago.
Oh, now you can't read it anymore.
I sold the 3 deluxe editions and my final copy of the Batman Who Laughs deluxe edition for like $50. So I went from one point having all 10 copies of that deluxe. I finally don't have a copy in my house anymore. It is not the same, as it includes No Justice in the oversized format for the very first time ever.
For second, it's coming in the second volume.
Oh, I thought No Justice was in the first volume because it's the origin.
Hold on.
It should start with No Justice, I believe.
Reading on the back.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. No Justice. You're right. For some reason, second volume. Yep. So it's the only one. Yeah, right.
The second volume will have the Batman Who Laughs.
That's it. That's what I forgot. Yep. And the other thing is too, the extras are different. You don't get the same extras as the deluxe. The deluxes were basically cover galleries.
Yeah, I held on to my deluxes, but I get why the Omni is good because I have a trade paperback of No Justice,
and it's not too bad. It's not an size for it. It's not bad. Yeah. It's definitely not as unwieldy like Blackest Night or House of M.
Shouts out to our friend Matt. You're not late. Glad you're here too. Jewish Dragon, who I just got to meet in person at WonderCon. That was a treat.
Yeah, that's right.
He got a Flash by Mark Waid signed by Mark Waid, which was cool for him. That Just League jacket is nice. Mm-hmm. And everyone, don't forget to smash that like button. And what are a couple of books you guys are going to vote in the reprint poll?
The Marvel reprint poll?
Yeah, every year I got less and less. Like my big thing for the last couple of years has been the Punisher stuff. So if there's still a Punisher on there, I'm probably going to vote for that because I don't think Volume 2 of the Ennis run has come back into print. So that's probably going to be, I'm going to use that for my top vote.
I think the only one I'm really looking forward that I'm going to vote for, because I like to say that if any book that's mainstream enough for Marvel for me to know is probably going to get reprinted, pretty soon. Like I don't think I have a lot of like niche picks, you know what I mean, that aren't going to. My Marvel love is pretty mainstream, but I really want to see Ecstatics get reprinted. I want to own Ecstatics.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Ecstatics, and I would say Superior Foes of Spider-Man.
Oh, that's a deep pull. Nice.
Yeah, that's been out of print for almost 10 years. It was published in 2016. I feel like it went out of print in 2017.
You could find that in Ollie's so much too.
Sorry?
I could find that in Ollie's a few times too. I just
you could have?
Yeah.
Because it was cheap. It was $50, and it was a thin Omni. It was just 12 issues, but it was $50, and it's really funny and really well done. Nick Spencer and Steve Lieber. It's really well done, and I feel like it dropped off people's radar kind of quickly. But yeah, I'd vote for that and Ecstatics to be reprinted.
I harpooned a whale this week, which I'm really excited for. It's a lot harder to whale hunt when you have Chris in your ear telling you don't pay above cover for books. You know what I mean? Like I actually have
Hey!
to.
I helped you. I did help you.
Yes. Ever since my interview with Tom King, like he really sold me on the Omega Men to the point where I started it digitally. I read the first 2 issues and I said, I don't want my experience reading this book to be digital. I wanted to read it physically. Um, because it was so good off the bat. And people like I couldn't find a good deal on it. I couldn't find a good deal on it. And people were charging like $90 for a used copy of the deluxe edition on eBay.
And he was this close
Yeah.
to saying, I'm going to pay $89. I said, you are not paying $89 for any sort of deluxe edition. That's highway robbery, even under normal circumstances.
So, just as a shot in the dark, I reached out to a retired comic book YouTuber who is selling off their entire collection because they're moving from New Jersey to near me in California. And I was just like, hey, like, by chance, do you have the Omega Man Deluxe Edition? Like, I've been like desperate for this book. And he sent back a bundle of like 5 Tom King Deluxe Editions that he was getting ready to post. It was Supergirl, Mr. Miracle, Vision, Omega Man, and a Swamp Thing Deluxe Edition I had never even seen before. I never knew that they printed Tom King's Swamp Thing in a deluxe edition. And I was talking with him. I was telling him like how. What'd you say?
It's a Tom King story.
Yeah, it's that one where Swamp Thing helps that child through a blizzard.
Yeah.
I never knew that they put
winter
special.
They
They put a couple like one-off Swamp. It has like Lin Wein's last Swamp Thing story in that deluxe edition. I think it's called like Green Terror or something. But we were going back and forth, and he was just like, I was like, well, the only ones I would need would be Vision, Omega Man, and Swamp Thing. And he goes like, you know what, man, I'll sell them to you all for $50. And they were charging 90 for Omega Man on eBay. So, Chris was like, do it. My wife said, okay. Cause like, I'm not supposed to be spending money on books because we just had to buy a washer, dryer, fridge. We're buying a couch, but she was like, do it. And then I even I DM'd Tom King and said, look at the deal I just got. And he goes, read them all and have me back on so we can talk about them. So
nice.
That was pretty cool. So I think we were talking, and he should be back on to promote his deluxe edition of Up in the Sky. So that'll be my second interview with him.
Nice.
But I'm really pumped. Omega Man, it's the first 2 issues were so good. And how he sold it to me is he said it was him being his most wannabe Alan Moore. He would like tell his wife, he would be like, who Omega's the Omega Man? So it's him being really crazy. But let's see your haul books.
Well, I just got one. The Doom Treasury Edition. This sold out so fast as a one-shot, I couldn't even get it at my LCS. So I jumped on this. I don't even know what it's about. It's by Hickman and Sanford Green.
It's a cool story.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So I was really excited to get this. So yeah, Sanford Green's a really good artist. And I have zero idea what this is about, but if it's Hickman,
it's Doctor Doom. So you're one step in the right column. You do know what it's about. It's about
okay.
Doctor Doom.
It looks like there's some Galactus in it too, I guess. Anyway, and it's pretty thin. I forgot it was just a one shot. But then there's a couple other stories in back that look like they're previously published. Runaways #1. Okay. During the events of Secret Wars, the brilliant students of the Victor Von Doom Institute for Gifted Youths learn their headmaster is a supervillain. Okay, so that must have been a Battle Worlds book. And then also being reprinted is Fantastic Four. From Hickman, 583. So it's like some back matter. That's cool. And I was going to say, regarding if you're doing the read through of Hickman stuff, when you get to Avengers, my advice is to read that straight through. Like, if you take a break, don't make it for longer than like half an hour, because I took a break for a week and I had to start all over. It was so
it's heavy stuff. Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah, it's so complex, and I mean, it's great. It's my favorite Avengers book, but it's got a lot of concepts it's throwing at you. So just be sure your table is cleared.
Does anyone know how I actually go through, since I gave my OHC of Secret War to BJ and got the Omni? When do I switch from the Avengers books to the Secret War Omni? Because I know they double dip a bit.
It would be like, the volume 2 has everything up until the actual Secret Wars event.
So then I switch to the Secret Wars Omnibus and skip ahead through those early Avengers issues that it collects and read just the event.
Just the
and
event.
then when do I fit in Battle World into that?
After.
There's no rhyme or reason to Battle World. It's just they're either small little mini series or one shots that didn't matter. It's a cash grab. The fact that they're getting 3 Omnis of it is the biggest cash grab.
I mean, I didn't think there was a rhyme. I didn't think there was a rhyme or reason when I found out the tie-ins were organized alphabetically. So
yeah, that's your first hint.
That I thought was an odd choice. Yeah, they're all alphabetical. But
they're alphabetical by series, though, right? Like, it's not like all the A issues. Like, it's like it'll be like Alpha Flight 1 through 4. It's not going to be like, you at least get to read the miniseries in the order, right?
They collect the full minis, and they're not going to like leave you hanging to like 1 and 2, and then they move on to the next one.
I mean, that's a choice. I mean, do you think that was Hickman? Because Hickman's pretty involved in like how his collected things are collected, right? But Battle World was just tie-ins. He didn't do them.
I don't think
different writers and artists.
Yeah, probably all the writers and artists had normal series. It's hey, we're gonna make you do this. Have fun. Be mad at Jonathan. But you can't be mad at him because Jess and I have met him. I mean, he's a very pleasant individual.
Oh my gosh, he's such a nice guy. Such a nice guy.
Great deal for you, Jake. Thank you. What I'll say is don't base your opinion of the book off of my rudimentary explanation of it. He wrote it specifically as something to give to his kids to help them understand what was going on. So the similarities are like the origin of Animal Farm and Animal Pound, and that's where they end. I would read it and base your opinion off that, not my terrible recounting of the story. Hickman comics are like roguelike stories. When you die, you have to start back at the beginning. It's funny.
True with Avengers.
Yeah, so now we have our new releases. Thanks for bearing with us, guys.
Longest delay ever.
Yeah, this was a pretty weak week. Light week. off the bat, Black Widow, modern era epic collection. My God, is that a description?
The Itsy Bitsy Spider. It's a great cover.
Yeah. I don't collect my Black Widow and epic collections, but if you guys do, God bless. Um, what does anyone read this? Anyone read what this takes place in?
I defer to Jess.
I remember it was a Marvel premiere before this. That's what the Itsy Bitsy Spider was a Marvel premiere title back when they had Marvel premieres.
Yeah, this looks to be kind of would this fall under the Marvel Knights timeline?
Boy, that's a good question, because this looks like it's also, is this the same week as the Yelena book?
Well, that could also be too.
Because
I don't
I
remember
think
Yelena.
it's more coherent than I think.
Yes, this is Marvel Knights.
Marvel Knights, yeah.
Yep.
I think this is more coherent than the other kind of things they do, where it's like introducing Monica Rambeau, where they just have a bunch of her appearances and they don't necessarily form all one story. But this looks like it's that kind of thing where they're putting together. But I think they were supposed to be individual Black Widow stories.
Yeah,
The only Black Widow,
yeah.
the only Black Widow I've ever read is when she's dating Daredevil and when Kelly Thompson writes her. So where would this fit in between Daredevil being chauvinistic to her and Kelly Thompson knocking it out of the park with her? Is this in between?
This is before. Because Marvel Knights, it should be before.
Yeah. Wait, when did Daredevil date her?
Many times.
Like, I meant like Daredevil Volume 2 or Volume 3. Like,
then yeah, this is in the middle then. Between before Kelly Thompson's.
Yeah, so this is Marvel Knights, so that would be during the Kevin Smith beginning and Bendis beginning. But
cool.
Yeah.
Moving on. Drifters.
I got
just
nothing.
looking like Gambit, but without playing cards. Did you throw those little papers?
Gives you paper cuts. You could be really annoying.
Chris, talk to me about Drifters. Read me the solicit in the dramatic voice.
Okay. Oh, give me something better. I don't want to do this.
Okay, moving on. It's a trade paperback and it's volume 2. Okay, well,
OPB is selling it. I didn't put it wasn't. We are selling it.
Moving on. Okay, Legion of Superheroes. 5 years later, Omnibus volume 1. This will be my first Legion story. I'm excited. Did
you read the 5 years earlier Omnibus? Did you read that?
Is that an Omni? Do I need that first?
Yes, it's an Omni. You're going to be completely lost. It's out of print, so you're going to have to go pay out of print prices. So good luck to you. Anyways.
Captain Underpants saying Drifters is their whale.
Nice.
And Next Imaginaut saying it comprises what would make the first part of a modern Black Widow Omni, directly following the Black Widow Strikes Omni.
All right, here's your dramatic reading, because I can dramatically read something from Legion. It's the Legion of Superheroes like you've never seen them before, as the heroes of the 30th century, not the 25th, because those guys suck. One of their boldest and most controversial eras. As DC's 30th century superhero team, the Legion of Superheroes had always stood as a shining example of futuristic optimism. But that all changed in 1989. It was a bad year. With the new Legion of Superheroes series that brought the timeline forward 5 years. That was all the controversy was, bringing it forward 5 years. They didn't make any explanation. They just did it because that's what DC does. In this even further future, the United Planets became a darker place because it's space and it's dark. With familiar
characters. Is this all in the solicit, or are you adding things?
Changed with the Earth overtaken by alien invaders. Well, the Legion's made up by alien invaders. That's a little bit strange. Anyways, and the team reunited to take on these dangerous new threats. Sounds like a little xenophobic at that point, but whatever.
Did you just say xenomorph on accident instead of xenophobe?
Xenomorphic.
Aliens on the mind.
Yes. Now this bold and controversy. Here we go with controversy again. It's just moving forward 5 years. It's part of DC's history is finally collected in Omnibus edition from the creative team of DC legends like Keith Giffen, Tom and Mary Blairbaum. Get DC 5 years later, the DC 5 years earlier omnibus coming soon.
I can't name a single character on this cover.
A lot of gutter mutants.
Yeah, these are space mutants. You know what I mean? There's I can't name any of that. That guy wants to be Firestorm on the cover, and then that one on all fours is that the Green Lantern Gnort, but before he's a Green Lantern, the one that looks looking like Alf.
Gnort.
Doesn't that look like Gnort, but just not a Green Lantern? Right underneath Firestorm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but
no ring.
Yeah, and then up there with the P on her chest, that looks like Space Ghost.
That's Phantom Girl. I think Princess Project is there. Lightning Lad, Ultra Boy.
Where's Brainiac 5?
Yeah, where is he?
Where's Bouncing Boy? Where's Matter Eater Lad?
Cosmic Boy, Saturn Girl. Let's see who else.
I feel like Mark Waid is weeping right now that I can't name a single one of these characters.
I think that's Pharaoh Lad in the middle with the FE blatantly standing for iron right there.
I was about to say, it wouldn't be Iron at that point.
Iron Lad.
Probably comic jokes. It's a wraparound.
Okay, so from what you guys know, should this be my first? Should I start with this Legion book, or should I start with the Great Darkness Saga? What should be my first Legion experience?
The Golden Age books.
I think the Great Darkness Saga might be something better for you to start with.
I just didn't like that they put who the Great Darkness was on the cover. Like I thought it was supposed to be a surprise.
That's totally spoiling it.
That's the only Legion book I own is the deluxe edition. That's it.
I still need to get that.
This run is good, but it's clear Giffen was heavily influenced by Watchmen. 5 years later is great. It's a wraparound cover, probably on the back. It's controversial because they all put on leather bomber jackets. You should start with the Silver Age or the Bronze Age. That's the only 2 Legion books I'm going to own.
I don't think. Well, there's also going to be volume 2 of this. Except maybe it's still in print. This thing was a whale, like a $300 whale on eBay for a long time. You're not going to want to start with the Silver Age. I know that era is not for you, Jake. As much as it is for me, I love that era. But
in my defense, I'm halfway through the Silver Age Doom Patrol omnibus.
Oh, that's different. That's Doom Patrol's the creme de la creme of Silver Age. Are you enjoying that?
It's still sealed. I put it in a box because I'm moving.
Halfway through, you liar. At least
I'm halfway through packing it.
You said, you know what? It's not for me anymore. I'm packing it. Go with God. AKA the movers.
Yeah.
That's actually Doom Patrol's really the best Silver Age out there, I think.
Don't start with this book, Jake. Start with something from the late 70s or early 80s.
He's right. Yeah.
Why is it freaking out? There we go.
Because I can click.
I'm not going to click comments anymore. It's all Chris. I'm going full screen.
Full screen.
Who is that? Is that Starman? Does he somehow move to the future? What's that star on his chest?
Starboy, who is that? These are all new costumes. And I'm only Saturn Girl, Lightning Lad, and Cosmic Boy were like the original 3, but then I see Lightning. I think that's Lightning Lass or Lightning Girl up there between Phantom Girl and it's not Firestorm. I can't remember. Sun Boy, I think his name is.
Are all 3 of us picking up this book?
I already have it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll be joining your ranks. I'll be ascending.
Until someone can explain to me the history of Legion of Superheroes without making me want to beat my head against the wall.
Well, that should be coming because Mark Waid said he's going to fix the Legion for everybody. when I
Yay.
saw him at WonderCon. He said
I've heard him say this. I've heard him say this before, and I've still not seen it yet.
Yeah.
And I like Mark Waid.
Did you hear what he said? So he's doing his 4 miniseries or whatever, the history of the DC world from when the universe gets created to when the last atom dies. And it's going to go through the whole like golden age, silver age, bronze age, modern, all the way to the future. Jonah Hex to the Legion. And for the silver age section, all Red's doing the art, which is going to be so sick. Because he was born to draw in silver age stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on though. Marvel Masterworks, Captain America Volume 1.
And moving on.
Yeah, Taylor's not here to talk about this. Can we talk about, how do you feel, Jess, about the DM covers of these Masterworks just giving you less art? Like, would you go standard or would you go DM?
I like the spines on the DMs, and so I usually go for DMs of the Marvel Masterworks. I'm collecting 3. Spider-Woman, Ghost Rider, and Dazzler, and they came out with a Dazzler bus.
And
you know what? I just sold my Dazzler omnibus, so I'm free.
Are they? I think they're finally wrapping up Johnny Blaze, right, Jess? With the solicits?
Yeah, probably with an omnibus. Now that I've got all the epics.
Well, I thank you for your sacrifice.
I'm not epics, the Masterworks.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I know Taylor loves this run and talks about how Kirby doesn't waste a single panel, right? This is the one that Taylor likes a lot?
Yeah, this is cool. I enjoyed this too.
Moving on. Here we go, Chris. This is the book you were holding in the thumbnail.
Yes, it was, because there's not much to hold in that thumbnail.
Bro, Chris is asking me to remake next week's thumbnail because he doesn't like the book I have him holding.
I don't like it.
Next week?
I don't like it. I don't like that Omni.
Because I'm going to be moving, I pre-made next week's thumbnail and stream, and Chris doesn't like that I'm having him hold Cosmic X-Men. I thought he was an X-Men fan.
I am an X-Men fan, but I don't care much for that Omni. There's so much double and triple dipping in that book. I gave you 2 other better options.
Okay, so speaking of better options, talk to me about Wolverine by Jason Aaron. Is this in the same run as when Wolverine dies, the Death of Wolverine Omni that I have, or are those unrelated?
Nope. Not related. This is also coming back into print after being out of print for a long time, and this is part of Jason Aaron's continuing. This is the beginning of Jason Aaron's run with Wolverine. So this will come before Wolverine and the X-Men, and this is the run leading to Wolverine Goes to Hell. Is collected in one massive bone-shattering volume. Joined by some of the comic's top artists, Aaron pitched Wolverine against a platoon of adamantium-enhanced mercenaries. What does he not put against adamantium-enhanced mercenaries? Super-powered kung fu gangsters, time-traveling reanimated killers. Well, that's a normal day for X-Men, and in a brutal no-holds-barred battle that may destroy them both. Mystique. Well, we already know that's not true. They both are alive.
What's Mystique doing to Wolverine? I feel like Wolverine would. I don't know.
It can be anybody.
Plus, when the files from the old Weapon X program fall into the hands of an evil corporation, Roxxon, it seems once again someone's looking to build the perfect killing machine. That seems tried and true stories that we know they're going to fail. That means it's time for Wolverine to step in and murder everyone.
Wolverine looks like he's juicing on this cover. Like, there's no way that's natural, right?
I've got to give you guys a 2-minute warning. My daughter just showed up.
I think this was our last book. So, last question. We have 2 questions. First, which cover are you choosing?
I think I chose the DM.
I've already got the white one.
And last question. What is everyone's book of the week? My book of the week is the 5 Year Later Omnibus because I am finally starting with my Legion reading.
Wolverine.
Lady Mechanica, Volume 6.
Are we not selling that book? Or was that not on the PowerPoint?
It's not in the PowerPoint. I chose not to. I chose violence.
Oh, you're trolling me? You're trolling your guests? Wow, now I know how it is.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for this. And where can they find you?
Sign off.
I have to go pack. So we have to call this. But where can they find you guys?
Jess, go ahead.
Thank you. You can find me tonight at 8 o'clock. I have Batterdays in the Batcave with Curtis from Epic Marvel Podcasts and Dom of X from Comic Releases, and possibly Taylor Talks Comics. He hasn't committed yet, but he has the link.
Got a full house.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Sick.
So,
And
thank you for having me on. Peace and love. Good to see you both.
bye, man.
Everybody in the chat.
And Chris, where can they find you?
You can find me lurking in the social media depths of depravity sometimes, depending on where I'm at, and on all the socials at Chris Balga. And you can catch me every Thursday night on the Geek First Podcast YouTube channel, 9-10 Eastern Standard Time on Thursday nights for Marvel Alliance. And you can search for the show on all your podcatchers of choice by Marvel Alliance. We broke down the penultimate episode of Daredevil Born Again,
AKA the first one that didn't suck.
Where you can clearly see the difference of when writers, people who can write a consistency of a Frankenstein first season.
I saw a reel today that said, I've never seen a show so clearly stitched together with reshoots and different tones and ADR be held together so effortlessly because of the main character's acting. And I'm like, that's so unbelievably accurate, because the full, like, the first, like, that's the reason I'm okay with it, is because his acting is just so effortless. Like, he became Matt and Daredevil instantly. You know what I mean? Like, it was so good.
I do lurk, Matt. I do.
And thanks, everyone. Keep reading and stay brave.